Very, very good morning and good afternoon, depending on where you are connecting from. My name is Saurabh, and I represent the Oracle's business and the strategy team. Let me start by thanking you all for joining this session titled Elevated Employee Experience. We have participants joining across from all over EMEA. On behalf of Oracle, I'm very, very happy to welcome you to this exciting session. Before we get started, kindly take note of a few housekeeping rules for today's session. This session is being recorded and the links will be shared post the event. If you have any questions during the session, please post your questions on the Q&A widget, which you see below on the screen on your Zoom panel. We will pick up the questions and respond to them either live or respond to them towards the end of the virtual session. So in today's session, we will hear our esteemed experts on how the workplace has shifted. The employees and organizations are now in the driver's seat. We see the world is changing, it's evolving, and so are the employees. They are redefining what's best for their lives and careers. They demand greater work-life balance. They demand real diversity and inclusion. And obviously, meaningful relationships with your managers where your voices can be heard and you have opportunities to learn and grow. People are redefined what success means to them, and they are clearly prioritizing mental health and well-being, growth, and work-life balance. Without any further delay, please allow me to introduce today's panelists. We are delighted and excited to have our first panelist, Mr. Mahmoud Galal. He is a management consultant, a chartered accountant by profession, and a key HCM transformation driver for our customer Barakah holding in the UAE. He has 15 years of experience across ERP, HCM, and clearly a master in tax and finance functions. Also excited to have, all the way from UK, Mr. Richard Hargreaves from the CRF, which is Corporate Research Forum. Richard is responsible for sustainable growth at CRF through delivering world-class HR content, facilitating knowledge exchange between HR professionals, focusing on future ventures, and developing a great team. Further down, we have Mr. Mahesh Reddy. He's a part of Oracle's esteemed partner, Nalsoft, and he manages the HCM practice. Finally, Mr. Shameel Ahmed, who is a transformational director from Oracle, and he will show or throw insights about Oracle's point of view on HCM transformations. Before I hand over to my colleague Shameel, we would like to launch a poll for the attendees to understand your views on employee experience. You must now see a polling option. So we will have about 30 seconds where you will have to pick in the right appropriate choice. And this is very important for us so that we can drive our discussions based on your feedback. We get a lot of responses coming in, 80%. We will give another 10 seconds before Shameel jumps in. All right. I think we've got enough respondents on the poll. I'm going to pass on to my colleague from Oracle, Shameel.
I'm just sharing the results with everyone. So, looks like 90 or 95% of you, feel the employee experience is at the top of your priority list. There's a couple of people where it's no priority whatsoever. And let's see, we'll cover now in the next session on the what and why employee experience is important. So let me share my screen. Okay, so today we're going to talk about employee experience, but I wanted to start with a short introduction. I will cover today not only employee experience, but also the trends in HR. However, to understand these trends, we have to understand where they've come from. The answer is relatively simple. Of course, it's the smartphone. This simple device, which in the beginning had nothing new from a technology perspective, changed the world. It was, although it didn't offer anything new, the first device where all technology available at that moment in time was combined in one simple device. Phone, text message, internet, we go deeper into the technology and the trends, let me first introduce myself to you. My name is Shameel Ahmed. I have over a quarter of century experience in leading HR functions across the globe in local, regional, and global roles, as well as experience in consulting. About half of my experience was gained whilst being based out of the UK, and the other half being based out of Dubai here in the UAE, Middle East, both across private as well as public sector organizations. I've spent time across a range of industries: retail, pharmaceuticals, financial services, real estate, professional services, tires, aviation, and more recently moved into my current role at Oracle, where I look at technology trends and how we as Oracle can use them in our HR solutions. At the same time, I talk to HR leaders and practitioners on a regular basis to discuss with them how they can transform their organizations. Technology has changed the way of communicating completely. Most people own at least one smart device, and 80% of it is social. And if I look at my kids, I know that's how they spend a huge part of their day, and I'm sure yours are the same. We share what we do, private and business-wise, on social media and with the world. So we have many ways of communicating, all enabled by technology and smart devices. Now, from the smartphone, of course, Netflix came along. So what did that mean? I know I watch what I want, when I want, and even better, Netflix suggests movies, series, documentaries based on my behavior. And if you log on to your Netflix, it will give you a personalized stream and will suggest movies, series, documentaries based on your behavior. And what we all see will be different depending on what we prefer. So what does all of this have in common? Changes that brought convenience. We transformed from a consumer perspective to an experience economy, fully driven by technology. And this means that at the end, we as HR leaders need to transform, as well as start seeing our employees as consumers and facilitate them in the same way. And the good thing is, the employees want it as well, right? Deloitte's research here effectively states that. And if we dive a little bit deeper, the same study, you'll see that priorities from C-level and employees are not that much different. In the same report, Deloitte states emphasizing importance of making the shift from survive to thrive is crucial, and advising that organizations should take more of a human approach in everything that they do. We know as HR leaders like yourself, we're at the forefront and still are at the forefront of navigating the challenges of the pandemic of your organization. Whilst we are all anxious to move forward, we do need to acknowledge this once in a lifetime shift that the events of the last 3 years has caused. As a result, employees have put a greater focus on work-life balance and on the importance of diverse and inclusive workplace. Employees are redefining what is best for their lives and their careers, and expect their employees to listen, act, align with, and support them. Now more than ever, it's time to focus on the mission and values that we discussed earlier. With talent shortages prevailing, employers have no choice but to see this shift as an opportunity to redefine the best for their workforce. So, how are employees redefining the best for their needs at work? Even us as employees want the same experiences that we experience as consumers. There are a number of things that employees may be looking for from you as HR practitioners and leaders. Here is the top 5 areas our customers are hearing from their employees. Employees want to find belonging, feel understood, work their way, learn and grow, and be empowered to do their best work. And for them, this is their employee experience. And for what each of these things mean to individuals varies. And the needs to be personalized and relevant, as we spoke earlier in the Netflix example, is paramount. By meeting these employee needs, you can realize business benefits such as reducing employee turnover and increasing productivity. Happy employees lead to happier customers, which ultimately leads to a more profitable business, which is, of course, what we all want. Let's discuss what we need to consider to successfully meet these employee demands and where HR technology can help. We've seen D&I become a priority these last few years, including here at Oracle. Today, employees and candidates want to align with and feel proud about their organizational values. HR leaders want to promote an inclusive culture and meet ESG goals. So how can you help your employees and candidates find belonging? It requires things like promoting a culture of inclusivity and community, enticing job seekers with experiences that set you apart, and ensuring equal opportunities and pay equity. From a business perspective, businesses want to build a modern and attractive employer brand, right? With employees setting the standards for organizations now, it's critical for them to feel heard and understood. Employees want their company to listen and respond to their wants and their needs. And HR leaders want to make it easy for employees to get support. How can you help as HR leaders to make your workforce feel understood? A few things that you can include is giving employees a place to share their thoughts and feelings, keep employees informed with clear and consistent communications, and make it simple and easy for them to get help from HR. From a business standpoint, we want to engage and retain valuable employees. Flexible work is now the norm. Employees want flexibility to choose where, when, and how they work. HR leaders want to support a range of employee types and locations. How can you help employees work their way? Well, I guess you need to liberate your workforce to complete tasks from anywhere, anytime, make it easier for them to find answers to questions, and keep your HR data safe while allowing remote access. From a business perspective, all we want is maximizing employees' performance potential. One of the top priorities for employees is to have access to growth and opportunities within their organization. Simultaneously, as an HR leader, you're looking to retain your top talent. So how can you help your employees learn and grow? You can look at understanding the skills your employees possess and where the gaps lie, inspire employees to set and progress career goals, and tailor learning to your employees' current as well as their future career interests. From the business perspective, we simply want the right skills to deliver our strategy. Employees and managers today are looking for work that they are passionate about, that keeps them motivated and earns them recognition when they deserve it. HR leaders want to enable their workforce to thrive. How can you enable or empower your workforce? You can ensure that you show employees their work is meaningful and recognize their accomplishments, offer employees step-by-step guidance for personal and professional tasks, and improve manager effectiveness by strengthening their relationship with their team. From a business standpoint, we want to remove the barriers for our talented people. Now, how do we do all of this? And Mahesh covered a lot of the detail around this in his session, but effectively, Oracle Me is the employee experience platform that empowers talent and business leaders to connect, grow, and thrive. It's comprised of journeys to enable personalized guidance to grow, connections to enable individuals to connect, HCM communicate, and touch points to provide a culture and environment to ensure individuals can thrive, and HR help desk and Oracle Digital Assistant to support the workforce with consistent, intelligent services when and where needed. Oracle Me is fully unified with Oracle Cloud HCM Suite and underlying power of Oracle Cloud infrastructure, ensuring the elimination of any risks associated with data security, privacy, and accessibility, whilst providing the most robust integration process orchestration. Our comprehensive HCM solution offers everything you need, from HR and benefits to talent management and recruiting to workforce management and payroll. It's designed to be scalable and meet the needs of your people, no matter where they are, and available in over 200 countries, 27 languages, and payroll localization in 12 countries. Employee experience is a core component to all. Customer first mindset. 80% of our new features originate from customer feedback. Most complete cloud with modular approach. You build or add as you go. Best technology from an application as well as infrastructure perspective using a single data model. We have a modern and unified user experience. And we have the fastest and continuous innovation with updates every 3 months. And last implementation you will ever do with this continuous innovation coming every 3 months, built on what you as customers are telling us, since 80% of the new features are originating from your feedback. Thousands of organizations across the globe and across industries have chosen Oracle Cloud HCM to provide the best employee experience to their workforce. Many more examples of customers can be shared with you that are relevant to your industries or your countries or regions on request.
I'd like to welcome next Mr. Mahesh Reddy from Nalsoft, who can continue with his speech. Mahesh, can you hear us?
Yes, Saurabh. I will start. Apologies for this glitch. We'll be moving to the next portion of the webinar, where we're going to discuss about how to enhance your employee experience using the Oracle HCM platform. Now, for the context of this webinar, I would like to talk about the employee experience around the employee life cycle. If you look at a typical employee life cycle in all our organizations, it begins with the attraction phase, wherein all the employers need to reach out to their prospective candidates by putting in best of their messaging in their branded portals. We'll talk about that, how to create enhanced experience at this phase of it. Then we moved into a typical hiring phase, where as per the governance and the policies and the criteria, the organizations can hire the required talent, followed by onboarding. Thereafter, we move into the phase where organizations need to engage their employees to be productive, and then also ensure they perform as per the needs of their businesses and to meet the departmental goals, organization goals. We will see this phase of the employee experience, how the platform supports. And finally, we need to give opportunities for all the employees to develop and grow in their careers. So we'll see that this is an equally important aspect for all the employees. And finally, it's equally important to also ensure the right employee experience even at a departing phase. Now, I've tried to model the rest of the next 18 to 20 minutes, where I'll be talking about some of the key aspects, how the Oracle HCM product helps you to go through all these phases and deliver the best possible customer experience, which is personalized to your organization. Let me begin with the first phase in terms of attraction and hiring, how organizations can leverage the capabilities of the Oracle platform to get in the best talent. So it starts by designing their branded portals. Every organization would like to have their values, their mission, and their purpose clearly articulated and shared with their prospective talent. Now, this is where we have a very good functionality from the natively built Oracle application, where you can define your career portals, and there is no need to integrate with any third-party or customized portals. So this is built into the product. You can design as per your requirements. Not only that, you have a very rich candidate experience offered by accessing these portals even through your mobile devices. You also have a lot of components in terms of artificial intelligence that helps in to tailor-make these offers to the candidates as well. So some of the important features, if I can talk about in terms of these portals from an Oracle perspective, would be in terms of the LinkedIn profile import. Candidates need not create their detailed, time-consuming profiles. They can simply import from the LinkedIn, which is where most of the employees put in their credentials. This information can be passed on to the recruiting portal. Then we also have a simple login. You don't need to create an account. You can just use a phone number or an email through which you can connect and then update your profile, apply for the jobs within the organization. Also, we have a lot of pre-built interfaces between the Oracle application itself to a number of third-party providers, be it resume parsing. You can have it in terms of your assessment, in terms of your video interviews. So that makes it a hassle-free experience for the people who use the Oracle recruiting portal to easily connect to the other third-party applications. So this is how you can create a good experience for your talent right from the early stage, which is in terms of the candidates trying to get into your organization. What about the in-house stakeholders, the recruiters and the hiring managers? This is where I'm coming to the next topic, that you have the entire process of recruitment. In some of the organizations, we used to call P2P, position to people, or a request to hire. So this entire transaction or the end-to-end process can be a hassle-free experience with the Oracle recruitment module. So what we can do is all the line managers can be given an access to create their own requisitions or a request for the new jobs or the vacancies. And throughout the journey of this requisition, be it the approvals from a budget point of view, and subsequently gathering the required candidates that are applying to it, both internal candidates, external candidates, the kind of campaigns which your internal recruiters could be handling, all this information can be made available to the line managers. So thus eliminating costly communications, emails, failures. If you look into a typical recruitment cycle, it takes a lot of time, the communications between the internal department. Now, all of them can be very smoothly handled with a clear interface which provides a transparent, detailed information to line managers as much as the recruiters have. And if you look into this screen, you can look into the summary of requisitions, the number of candidates that have applied. You can also look in terms of going through the candidates yourself. So you can search for it. You can see the success of the campaigns which the recruiters have conducted. You can also look into some of the candidate pools that you may have created, and you can even see the offers that are in place. We also have recruiting at glance, a component where you can see the analytics related to the job requisitions. Okay, this is yet another screen. If you want to drill down to specific positions, you will be able to see the clear summary of the number of applicants, how many people have been hired, and what kind of referrals you have received, the full information about it. Where was it posted? Was it posted only in-house? Was it posted also for external site? All sorts of interactions which the management or the team had with the candidate, you'll be able to see it, the interviews, the feedback, the time it took for each requisition or each applicant to move from one stage to other, all of them can be tracked. Not only that, you have a very powerful artificial intelligence engine that kicks in during this process, trying to do the kind of the initial fitment, and it can give you recommendations in terms of the best possible fit. Based on the requisition, the system can automatically throw out the candidates, and this will be made visible to both recruiters as well as the hiring managers, who then can take the appropriate actions. It can also predict the estimated time to hire. That's another powerful functionality. And if you want to drill down further, you can also go for a similar candidate. So having gone through the recommendations, you would like to have candidates who are matching a similar profile, you will be able to see this information very clearly. So thus, it's giving literally the entire 360-degree view in terms of an end-to-end recruitment cycle in a hassle-free, transparent manner to all the hiring managers. And it can also have a powerful interview scheduling capability where you can announce the specific slots that are available, and these information by integration that helps you to have the scheduling and rescheduling. Again, a very good collaboration tool between the line managers or the hiring managers and the recruiters. Also, as I mentioned, you have powerful analytics that can deliver the rich experience in terms of the quality of resources, the diversity of resources that you are trying to hire. So these are the kind of interfaces the product offers that can help you in terms of gathering attracting the right talent and provide a transparent mean throughout this particular process. Now, let us move to the next stage, which is onboarding. Now, onboarding is a very, very important aspect as well. The first set of interactions which every employee has within the organization. So here again, we have an award-winning functionality called Journeys that is launched by Oracle that gives you a very smooth way in which all the tasks which the new hires have to go through with an organization can be easily defined, and we can define these journeys. So journeys used to be a much the earlier form of checklist, but you can have a beautiful branding-based components and can be configured, can be tailor-made as per your organizational needs. And these journeys are also connected with eligibilities. So therefore, you can have the access to that based on the grades or the jobs, completely personalized as per your organization need. Now, for instance, if you look into a typical onboarding journey, these could be an invitations, a set of system tasks. You can even embed videos. A host of activities can be done in terms of these journeys, and you can launch them and provide them to the appropriate groups of employees as and when they enter the organizations. You can have the CEO videos, you could have some of your internal training programs, you can have links to some of the policies. All these could be configured and made available to all the employees. It doesn't just stop at that. So journeys are a very, very powerful functionality. You can use this as a guide to employees during their life cycle itself. You could be for promotions, it could be for travels. You can see a host of other applications. It could be for any of the change management programs that you would like to have. You can define all the activities listed and provide them to the required resources. That could be specific departments, it could be all employees, it could be all line managers as well. And you have a lot of security functions built around it. You can have these journeys exclusively available to the HR specialist. You can have the journeys available only to the HR specialist and managers or even employees. So it's a wide range of customizing capabilities that are available, and Oracle provides a number of these journeys as a predefined option, and then you can build on it further towards what is more required to you. It can be used to have a streamlined approach to your promotions. It could be a guidance provided to even your business partners, to the specialists. So that is to ensure that you will be able to deliver and execute all your policies in a systematic, consistent manner. So this is a very powerful functionality. In fact, this functionality has been in place just for a few quarters earlier on, and the functionality is only growing from every quarter, every quarterly release that we get from Oracle. Now, moving on to it, another important element, you have the employees, you attracted the best talent, you have onboarded them, now they need to connect with all your colleagues. Here, again, we have a very powerful functionality coming in terms of a connections, wherein you can have a detailed profile of all the employees and their personal and professional information made available to all other employees in the organizations. It could be their organization chart, it could be a brief profile about an employee. You can even have a short 10-second video that can be created and uploaded. This is a recent functionality. You can have their interest clearly documented and made this information available to all the other employees. So employees can easily search for their colleagues, understand them better professionally, personally, and start connecting with them and collaborating with them for executing their day-to-day job and accountabilities. So here, if you look into it, the more components that come along with the connections is about employee summary in terms of an experience, the types of feedback which the employee have received from the different partners, and then you can see the hierarchy in which they belong to. You can get to know about their direct reports, including some of the dotted line reportings that exist for these employees. You can also look at all their team members, their indirect reports as well. This is the number. Then you can look at the departments which this colleague is handling, the locations in which these departments are located as well. So you can see a host of information in a few clicks in a very user-friendly manner is available to all the employees so that they can get to know their other colleagues better, and maybe they'll get their best colleague at work. This is one of the important elements from a Gallup, which is the most popular one for employee engagement. It is often believed employees who have their best friend at work are often more engaged. So this is one of the tools that helps employees to connect with their colleagues. Next, We have the employees onboarded, you have connected. Now we want them to be engaged and start delivering towards the organizational objectives. How can the system help in enhancing this engagement? Now, coming with the engagement, one of the key stakeholders to drive employees would be the line managers. The line managers need to have a full 360-degree view of their teams. And this is what precisely my team, a standard functionality in the manager self-service, does it. Every employee every manager can see all their team members with a click of a button. The full information is available. Not only that, they can see their workers, their employees working, they can also look in terms of their direct reports, indirect reports, the consultants, the contractors. The full view of their teams can be made available in the self-service. And you can also see what's in pipeline. So you can have here an example of, they can see their current employees, they can see the people with an offer. So that is, these are the colleagues who are in the pipeline, would be joining pretty soon. And you can have the requisitions that have been raised for any vacancies within that particular line manager's purview. So all this information in a single interface is available to managers so that he or she can manage their demands accordingly. Not only this, you can have a small tab, which is compensation. They can see the compensation of all their team members. You can see here across how does the compensation fare in terms of the salary ranges, the compare ratios, the grades they belong to. And in case if they would like to request for any of these adjustments based on these comparisons, and should your organization policy permit, they will be able to initiate a salary adjustments or a pay reviews as well. Not only this, if you drill down to any specific employee, you see the kind of host of functions that you could be doing it. And this is one of the important elements of the employee experience. You have here talking about employees' public information. You can see all the job-related information here. You can see the employees' goals, skills, career development, feedbacks. And then if he or she is a part of succession planning, the different kinds of talent ratings, the one-to-one check-in meetings, all the information related to each of their team members can be viewed within 2 clicks. That's in terms of understanding about their employees and also taking an appropriate action. Pretty much every HR transaction in the current version of the Oracle can be initiated by the line managers. It could be in terms of change of job, it could be a promotion, it could be a transfer, it could be a contract. This is a very powerful workflow-driven functionality that can eliminate a lot of admin job from the traditional HR departments or business partners. Managers can be empowered to initiate an actions. But again, managers cannot change. Of course, you need to have the checks and balances, the appropriate business rules, and these rules can be managed by setting up the appropriate workflows behind each of these transactions. But the key point here is, if you wish, you can empower managers to literally manage every aspect of their employees through the portal. So that's how you can enhance your experience and have faster decision making in terms of the processes, in terms of the talent they're trying to manage. Now let's move on to other aspects that we have in terms of how the different components of the tools can help in engagement. Here is another example. If employees would like to seek any help, you have a robust help desk functionality wherein you can do a simple keyword search to find out about any of the topics they're interested. You have all the key policies, frameworks, FAQs that are readily available at a click of a button. You'll be able to browse through it. And if you don't want to browse through, you can just do a simple filter criteria and system will do the search for you. For instance, in this case, I tried to search by a keyword called HCM. And then it showed, in this case, how can you do absences using the HCM? And we can drive deeper in terms of this particular article. You can see there's also a rating functionality. It is pretty much like your consumer grade applications where employees can rate the FAQ or a policy. So that will be available. For most popular ratings can be maintained. You can see the summary of the problem statement and the potential alternatives. And you can also create links here to the application. So here is an example. An employee tried to search with HCM. System threw up the kind of an articles, help desk articles related to it. And it has got a link. And once an employee clicks this link, it can navigate you to the appropriate page. also. So this is using the component called as a deep links that you can create immersive experiences for employees to quickly do it. And all this functionality, what I'm talking about, can be done from the mobile devices as well. Now we'll move on to some more of the functionalities. You can create all your service letters in a click. This could be on a mobile device. It could be on a desktop. It is one single interface, one experience across all the devices. So imagine you are in a weekend and you try to quickly complete a bank formality and you'd like to require an experience letter from the organization. You can literally generate it on your mobile device and then share it to the appropriate to the authorities outside or to the banks to get your other requests processed. And if there is a workflow that is required in terms of these particular letters, we can enable that as well. There could be some set of letters which require approvals. We can configure that as well. So this is yet another thing to provide the commonly used services at the fingertips of the employees. Yet another example, a lot of organizations require declarations every year. It could be share dealing policy, it could be business compliance, no conflict of interest. So you can define all these things without any expensive customizations. You can define these declarations and make them available in the employee self-service. Now, this could be an example of a declaration which you might need from every employee at the beginning of the year. You can do this. You can also use these documents, a very powerful functionality, to request some of the operational requests. It could be expense claim, it could be school fees reimbursement, it could be loans. So all those requests can be initiated, tailor-made as per the business needs. You can create it again, absolutely no coding is required. And if required, you can have appropriate workflows while processing these functionalities or these processes. Okay, so this is yet another example how we can make it very easy and user-friendly for employees to initiate the request and get the required processes executed. Then if you go in terms of some of the analytic capabilities, we have two capabilities. One is the concept called as InfoLabs, which gives you all the summary. Precise, it's very useful for line managers. It can also be extended to employees. If you look at this, it can talk about for each manager, if it's presented in this rich graphical interface about their competences, the kind of operational indices related to the sickness, the kind of talent related indices like employees at risk, the typical 9x9 box, the salary analysis of the team. So all this information can be presented, highly configurable, and you can give the options for managers to choose. If you build a library of this infolets, this can be made available to them. And not only that, they just not only are static information, they're also interactive. You can drill down. If you look into this particular example, employees at risk 263, you can also find what is in the sickness 95 and 37, a small button on the bottom. You can navigate to expand. You can also flip these analytics and you can have another set of information that can be made available to you. So again, a very powerful functionality, refreshed with every login that can be made available to every manager. You have more powerful analytics that you can give it to the extended employee stakeholders who are specialists and business partners. This could be in terms of your diversity. This could be in terms of the recruiters trying to have a full view in terms of how the recruitment KPIs are working out, how much time they're taking. You having the power of a single database, the kind of KPIs that you could plot, the kind of an information you can provide to your internal stakeholders is literally immeasurable, innumerable. So you can choose various combinations. Since everything resides on one database, you can easily create these kind of dashboards and provide it in a secured manner to the different business partners or the department heads. Yeah, you can do a trend analysis. All this is built in. There's no additional tools. There's a component using the OTBI, Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence, which is a built-in component. In addition to this, if you require, you can always use the Oracle Analytics Cloud, which can give you more enhanced cross-modular support. But within HR, this is a very powerful analytics tool. And now another important element is well-being. Okay, now this is an important concern to all of the employees now, Oracle provides a self-service functionality where an organization can set up wellness activities. Employees can then enroll into these activities. They can define their own goals. They can integrate their devices, the smartwatches, other things to measure the employee goals, to their wellness goals. They can create teams. They can create participation into these activities. They can also do assessments. Again, everything in a 360-degree manner is available in employee self-service. You can do a similar set of activities for volunteering. So if you have a strong CSR functionalities within your enterprises, we can create projects. Employees can create their own interest and then nominate for supporting the voluntary activities. Again, they can form teams and help in supporting the voluntary activities run by the organization. Again, if you look into it, there are different ways what an employee aspires to. In fact, if you look at a storyline, Shameel was to present some of these, which are coming as an emerging needs of employees. The product is exactly matching all those requirements. All these are available. A lot of customers, as we speak, are using these as well. And now another functionality from an employee sentiment and an engagement point of view. This was a recently launched functionality called Touch Points, wherein we can easily define, the specialists can define a quick pulse surveys, and employees can participate in those surveys. And once employees record their sentiment, these will be summarized real time to all the managers within the organization. Here is an example where you can see the pulse scores. The system is plotting and trying to show how does the overall sentiment of the organization with regards to the employees are feeling, and it can compare with this particular team manager's direct reports and indirect reports. Not only that, it tries to highlight who of the team members are having low engagement and who are the team members who have an upcoming check-ins, the kind of meetings they have, one-to-one meetings. Oracle gives a powerful functionality where you can record your one-to-one interactions between employee and line managers. It can also highlight some of the employees which this particular team leader did not meet up formally in the recent past. It gives you in terms of the overdue check-ins, and then you can drill down to the employee sentiment by each of it. This is an aggregate score which you have seen in the previous screen. Here you can see employee by employee, how are their engagement scores or the sentiment scores are coming up. Not only that you can see it, you can also start taking actions. You can have some check-ins based on the high or low engagement scores. You can send some feedback. You can request feedback about these employees from the other colleagues. You can also celebrate some events. And to support all these activities, we also have a beautiful concept called as nudges, where the system gives monitoring on a variety of parameters like an employee life events, employee goals, achievement, anniversaries, and can prompt the managers to take an appropriate cue towards start engaging with the respective employees. And if you go to further down, drill down to an individual employee, you can see all the different touch points. You can see their pulse survey scores. You can see the different touch points, the kind of feedbacks, the kind of events that this particular employee celebrated. Again, giving a full view in terms of an employee sentiment to the managers real time so that they can take the appropriate interventions and keep their teams motivated. Now, now we have onboarded the employees are engaged. We also need to make them work, and then we need to ensure the organization goals are met. So this is where we have the perform as a function, and how does the system support in ensuring the organization goals are achieved. We have a very powerful goal management system, which can help you to be an effective strategy execution tool. You can define, using the Oracle goal management, organization goals. You can have a powerful goal library wherein you can streamline and define the goals and make them available for different job families. So this can help you to avoid inconsistency in the way the goals are written in the organization. You can ensure line managers assign the goals, some of the junior staff. You can all the goals are aligned. So with the organization goal, this ensures an effective strategy execution. Again, a host of functionalities are available to make it easy, at the time very robust in terms of cascading the corporate goals to all the levels. And you can also have sharing the goals again, enhancing the collaboration between the employees. So this is another good functionality in terms of the performance, and all the interfaces, I'll show some of them in the subsequent screens, are very easy and simple. So it makes it easy for employees to connect to the purpose of the organization and create and execute their goals in a very smooth manner. Not only this, while doing these goals, we again have yet another powerful functionality called as guided journeys that has been launched recently, a few quarters back. And this helps like a contextualized communications embedded into the screens at the appropriate. For instance, this is an example of a typical goal setting phase. At this phase, if you'd like to have some of the leadership communications and quick videos that have been created, and if you want to be shared, for example, you would like to have during this year's goal setting cycle, the strategy of the company be communicated. Okay, so this could be made available to the employees. So whenever an employees come to the screen, they'll be able to create and use this strategy. They can create the strategy maps. They can have a visibility of it. You can even launch the CEO communication in it. It could be CEO videos during the goals, and during the performance, you could be a videos from CHRO or business partners whom you want to give an access to, and create about do's and don'ts, some tips and tricks, whatever you wanted to communicate. Context sensitive communications can be shared with the employees as well. So now, if you look into the other communications, so you do have a rich communications that can be made available to all the employees, and this can be done in using the news and announcements. You don't need an expensive corporate communication tools, but HR team members can generate this kind of a rich text communications, and the same information will be available to all the employees on mobile, as well as in terms of the regular other devices, be it desktop, be it the tablets. You can create all this communication. The communications can have your customized branded portals. You could have the content written in the language that is acceptable to your organization culture. You can have links. So all this can be done very easily. Yet another tool to have clear, quick communication. And if you want a more robust functionality, you have HCM Communicate, which can have a targeted communications as well. Now, moving on to performance management, for want of time, I might need to rush with quickly. Again, a very powerful functionality where you can have performance management done as per the company's need. You could have performance management done purely on goals and competences, or goals, competences, and development plans. The system allows you to manage all your performance management in any manner that you would like to do it. In addition to it, gone are the days where you have only an appraisals done during a mid-year or year-end. You have a beautiful concept of check-ins, wherein you can frequently manage the employees' performance, ensure they're on track. You have continuous feedback. It supports the latest thinking and the thought process happening in terms of the employee performance management, moving away from the rigid bell curve era where you had force rankings. So here is an example where a manager can see all his team members. He can see their overall ratings, the system generated ratings. They can have a start getting into each of the sections, like a performance goal, competences, development goal, and start rating them as well. So here we can see, you can go to each of the sections, you can do a relative comparison amongst the team members and go in terms of the individual topics, like performance. You can have weighted averages, all this, whatever your business rules could be, this could be configured in a very simple and easy manner. Yeah. So the last, even in terms of a reward, if your organization would like to give the access towards the reward management to your employees, you could be able to do this as a part of the workforce compensation, wherein you can allocate budgets to the line managers for a distribution. And these budgets could be for merit increases, it could be for bonuses, it could be for your stock options that we have. So all of them could be managed in a very user-friendly manner. And you can build in all your business rules as well. So now you can also empower line managers. Again, line managers could be level 1, level 2, as your organization could be. And managing your, as per your business rules, if you start looking into it, you can have the business rules configured. You can have your compensation history, job history, even market
Mahesh, can we
compass.
do a time check? We just about a minute. So a quick time check and we can wind up.
Sure, I will push it. Okay, so these are all the capabilities that we have, and for want of time, similarly, we have a very intuitive development learning platform, which can give options towards the current learnings, the required mandatory learnings from the company. All of them could be done. All of them could be made available in self-service, easy to search. They can do a request in terms of the learning management as well. Yeah, and another opportunity for the employees to grow would be to provide an in-house portal, wherein we call it as an opportunity marketplace, wherein all the jobs posted based on an employee's preferences can be made available. Employees can easily apply to these jobs. They can search for it by various criteria. And then once they apply, their full skills and qualifications will be shared to the recruiters. And then you can even have e-signatures. And this is how the integration of the core HR, all the modules, recruitment, and provides a 360-degree view to recruiters and line managers. I'll skip this. You also have a powerful functionalities to nurture the talent, and we can have these kind of a grids that gives you the different perspectives of the employees and talent in terms of performance, potential risk of loss, and impact of loss. In conclusion, I would like to say this is one platform, that one solution, one integrated with a simple to use interactive screens, and the product is backed with regular updates. A lot of investment is made from Oracle towards developing this. A lot of enhancements have come in the recent past, and more enhancements comes to it. Just to give you a numbers in perspective, close to 6 billion is a kind of the R&D budget that goes on a rolling basis on these enhancements. About 9,500 product updates have been made in last year alone, and majority of them have been made based on the user feedback. And we have a very powerful customer connect, which helps you to manage the kind of interactions, to understand solutions, to share knowledge amongst the customers. So definitely this is a product, this is one integrated product that can support the complete employee experience journey of your organization. Last, a brief introduction about ourselves. We as an organization, the 2 decades old, a system integrator specialized in driving Oracle solutions in the region. We have successfully helped about 175 different engagements in the region, with almost everything driven on 100% on a timely basis. We're about 250 strong members. We're here to support in some of the transformations that we have shared earlier. All these have been built by us in one way or the other. And we can support the more enhancements as the product comes in, both from HCM, from the rest of the Fusion applications. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks so much, Mahesh, for that detailed how to do it. Let me launch the second poll. Okay, so 30 seconds. You should all see the poll on your screen. Okay, we're starting to see some results come in. Excellent, excellent. It's taken off. Everyone's awake again. Let's give it 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Richard.
Thank you very much, Shameel. Yeah, let me just pick up the results as they come through from the poll here. I'm comparing these to a piece of research we did about 18 months ago. Let me just share those results. And interestingly, I think we see a lot of consistency around the need to retain talent and attracting the right talent. The one that stands out, which is quite different from the piece of research we did a little over a year ago, is there's a much greater percentage here about improving productivity. 79%, if I compare it back to the research we did, it was about 42%. So maybe that's a sign of the times that we're moving out of pandemic and looking a little bit more into the future and looking at hopefully a growth agenda again. But let me just stop sharing that, and I shall share my screen. There we go. Oh, 1 second. So hopefully you can see my screen. Just to introduce myself, my name is Richard Hargreaves, the Managing Director of Corporate Research Forum. As I introduced at the beginning, we're a UK-based research house supporting the knowledge, skills and capability development of the HR function. We produce research, run events, etc. And we cover all those main strategic HR topics. And as I've just alluded to, about 18 months or so ago, we looked at the topic of purposeful employee experience. The research included surveys of heads of employee experience and also quite a number of interviews and insights from global HR leaders across Europe, Middle East, Africa, and also into the US and Asia as well. I appreciate we're a little bit short of time, so what I'm going to do is go through pretty quickly the key findings of the research. There's 8 key recommendations, so I'll go through those quite quickly before then bringing in some of our panelists as well, and we'll have a bit of a Q&A. So in terms of those findings, the first one very much focused on, let's make sure we start with the business strategy. What are the relevant business and industry issues and how they're going to impact you and your organization in order for you to drive that competitive advantage? But also remember, you need to meet the table stakes. And by that, I mean the basics, the bare minimum from which you can build. You need to make sure you fix your pain points. What's really difficult in employee experience right now, for whom and why? We've had 2 good presentations talking about the use of data and systems and how that can support you. And it's important to understand the specific challenges your workforce is currently facing in order to work out the priorities of where to focus. Make sure also you're aware of the unrepairable moments that have lasting damage to your employee experience as well. Think about the structure of your organization. In most organizations, the HR function is responsible for the employee experience, but that can't be done in isolation. It's done in collaboration with other functions. So think carefully about, does your structure support this, or does it hinder the overall experience? And do you have too many of your functions working in silo or isolation of each other? We've just heard a little bit about the importance of segmenting the employee experience. There is no one size fits all, so you need to identify the groups and personas that have different needs and then approach that in different ways. Identify the groups and the workforce that are going to need that different approach, and then relate it back to those overall business needs. For many organizations, critical talent will be really important, so make sure you're focusing efforts where it's going to have the biggest return. Use a framework. Mahesh at the beginning talked us a very simple framework. I'll share with something that's a little bit more detailed in a minute, but the important points here are the moments that matter, and they're often the transitions between different stages of the employee journey. And once you've identified your journey, use a framework to go step by step through the various stages, identifying pay points and opportunities for improvement. Important to invest in skills development and be clear on who needs to be upskilled and how. Is it your leaders who need to be upskilled in terms of their role modeling? Or is it your managers who need to be upskilled in terms of how they can have and hold difficult conversations? The important thing is be clear on who and how. You need to co-design the solution with employees. No, listening to employees is really important and gets you a long way, but actually really co-designing it using principles of design thinking with the employees is likely to have a far bigger impact. And then finally, make sure you're evaluating the impact from a business perspective, not from an HR perspective. Yes, sure, employee engagement, retention, well-being are really important measures, but how is this driving business metrics, revenue growth, customer satisfaction, profitability, productivity, etc.? So in terms of the CRF report, you can download it using the QR code on the right. And also our framework, which formed a key part of that framework, that key part of that report is here as well. As we see, we take you on the employee journey. For us, it's important about candidacy, so it starts before you join. It goes through onboarding, performance growth, but also importantly to stay connected with people afterwards as well. And I say the things to focus on here are the moments that matter, and often they're the transitions between each of the stages. We also looked at 8 enablers to drive the employee experience, and they're listed in the middle of that framework. And the report goes into much more detail, obviously, around each one of those. And if this is an area you wish to build your own personal capability, the second QR code there at the bottom right also gives you a short course you can take to actually kind of walk you through this in far more detail as well. So at that point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to introduce and invite Mahesh and Shameel, who you've already heard from, but also invite Mahmoud Galal, who's a management consultant, project manager at Barakah Holding, to join us as well. And maybe, Mr. Galal, can I fire the first question across to you? And can you give us a little bit of background about the HR digital transformation journey that Barakah Holding's been on?
Yes, hi, Richard. Thank you for the introduction. Actually, when Barakah Holding assigned us to manage a project internally, the management visions, it was based on 4 pillars. The pillar number 1, which is seamless process. Pillar number 2, keep the employees all the time connected to the company. And the pillar number 3 is the reports and analysis for high management and internally uses. And the last pillars, which is compliance with the laws. It's combined in one solution when we go through Oracle HCM during the implementation, and after we went live as well. In addition to that, you know, the success of using any systems at the end, which is the end users. So the system should be more user friendly and easy to access, and to be learning curve increasing by using the system by the time from the employee. So which we really found once we shifted to the Oracle HCM, and the staff be more connected to the system, uses from mobile application, from the web, from anywhere, especially the employee services. And now the employee feel more connected and more easily, no need to call, no need to visit, no need to wait a long queue, you open tickets. Now through the system from your mobile application, you can access, you can submit a request, which is take a few seconds, and it will reach, and it can just get it approved, and you can follow up and track your whatever inquiry internally in the company. That's add more value to the whole systems internally, because you know the employee is number 1 in any entities, and when the employee feel connected to the company and feel more comfort to communicate, it's give more comfort level to all the users to using the systems.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that. Interesting in terms of the implementation. What are you now looking for in terms of moving forward? How do you see things evolving into the future?
Yes, for moving forward, after we went live, we work together with the head of department and the employee internally for adoption plans to make the users more stable on the system, and to utilize the full features of the system. So we just work on the adoption plan. So we take the stuff internally step by step to get more familiar to the system, and start to get out all the features, which is they can easily get the benefit out of it gradually. By the time the user become an expert on the system, and also there is a champion, we assign a champion internally from the department itself. So whenever new joiners or someone have any questions, you can easily reach out to the champions, or during the help desk services already it's coming with the HCM itself.
Brilliant, brilliant. And a third question, if I may, in terms of the journey you've been on, is there anything you would have done differently looking back? Any learnings that you could share with our participants that you would have approached slightly differently?
Of course, it's a totally difference, because to find an integrated full-fledged module when you come to HCM, I believe it's not a easy choices in the market. And Oracle, I believe they are the leaders on this module, because it's full-fledged module. No need to integrate with anything outside or part here or part there. It's to give you full-fledged systems, which it will improve your experience internally 360 degree with the new features of artificial intelligence and dashboards and machine learning. It will give you full-fledged modules.
Thank you. Mahesh, you gave us a very detailed presentation of the Oracle HCM solution earlier on. Are you seeing a difference in the expectations of employees now than pre-pandemic?
Yeah, definitely, Richard. I see a lot of difference, especially pandemic has been a phase which brought many elements together, remote working, hybrid working, all the more the need for a connected systems are very, very important. And still the productivity goals of organizations remain the same. I definitely see a change. I've been associated with the HR domain and the HR systems for the 20 years. In all my experience, I can definitely say it is evolving. And we also have a couple of additional factors. For instance, you have more of millennials or Gen Z entering the workforce. The teams that are the workforce that have been brought up in the internet era, so their demands are very different. So they are exposed to, I think a lot of the speakers have covered in different capacities in terms of this trend. So that is impacting. And lastly, with a lot of disruptive technologies that are in place, organizations are in a constant flux. And when the organizations are in a constant flux, they need to have a key differentiation done through customer experience. And for organizations to deliver and stay competitive through good customer experience, they need to take care of the internal customers, which are the employees. So all these forces, in my view, have actually seen this and have been engaged in engagement studies where we have seen a good engagement, good experience, or a lead indicators for revenue and profitability. Yes.
Thank you. And changing tack quickly, but we had a question came in on the chat, just asking with regards to the solution. Can we consume the existing self-service portal license, or will we have to have a new license for this portal?
Yeah, I think that's an evolving product. Yes, for touch points and connections, you need a different license. Journeys you can use from the standard application.
Wonderful. Hopefully that answered that question. Shameel, can I come back to you, just picking up your experience of leading HR teams as well, maybe building what Mahesh just said as well. In terms of your experience, what do you see as employees' demands, wants, and expectations from technology now? We have so much technology in our consumer life. We expect it to work just as operationally with a great user experience in our professional life as well now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think, it's what I touched on before. Effectively, we're looking for, what I would say people-centric technology. So as a person, as an employee, what am I expecting from my employers and from the technology around me? I think my employer needs to know me, see me, hear me, include me, and help me, right? And that can be done, I think, in a number of different ways. One is about targeted communications, right? Keeping your workforce informed, support change, and reinforce your culture. Second is around personalized guidance, making it easy for me to complete the most important journeys with personalized step-by-step guidance. I think the third piece is around continuous engagement, giving every employee a voice and every manager the tools to act. Fourth one would be around HR service delivery. So supporting your employees with consistent, intelligent service wherever they are. And finally, a complete experience. So securely extending an enterprise-wide employee experience for every employee and people process. And from an accessibility standpoint, of course, as I mentioned earlier, it's about any device, anytime, and anywhere, Richard.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think the point you made at the beginning around purpose and belonging, I think we're seeing a lot from our research around almost HR's role as becoming the social conscience of the organization as well. You talked a little bit around the D&I agenda, the ESG agenda, and I think that's becoming a core part of the HR tool set that they need now.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
Wonderful. I think we could go on much longer, but I'm conscious that it's 11 my time, but probably far later your time. Saurabh, shall I hand it back to you to close things off now? But thank you very much, Mahesh, Mr. Galal, and Shameel for your contribution.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you, Richard. I think it was an intriguing session, and we're almost on the top of the hour. So I'd like to thank, obviously, all our esteemed panelists who've come and delivered excellent messaging, and more wholeheartedly thanks to all the attendees who took out this time for an hour and across EMEA, and hopefully took a lot of insights out of the session. Before we wind up, we would like all the attendees to know that we will be sending you the recording of the session. And hopefully for your folks who haven't attended this call, they should be able to listen to the recorded video. So again, thank you so much to all the attendees for attending this session, and hopefully see you for more Oracle sessions in the future. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Climate change, environmental matters, socioeconomic issues, war, increasing prices for energy. We're living in a world that is increasingly volatile, uncertain, and ambiguous. And at the same time, employers need to find and retain talent by providing a work culture and work environment that is attractive and differentiated from others. In this context, good is not enough. You require best. Can employers redefine best for candidates in their workforce? We at Oracle think that the workplace can be a place where people like to be, where they find their belonging, are listened to, can contribute, and be valued on an individual basis, but also as part of the larger community, diverse and inclusive, be at their best. Employees are redefining best for their needs at work through aligning with and feeling proud about their organizational values, a culture of inclusivity and community, meeting environmental, social, and governance goals, and ensuring equal opportunities and pay equity. How can you help your workforce to feel heard and understood? By giving your employees a place to share thoughts and feelings, keeping them informed with clear and consistent communications, and making it simple and easy for them to get help from HR. Having the flexibility to choose where and when and how you work is the new norm. Liberate your workforce by allowing them to complete tasks from anywhere, anytime. With flexible processes and tools that adapt to and support everyone's way of working. Employees want to grow with your organization and have easy access to growth opportunities. Understand the skills your employees have and where gaps lie. Inspire them to set and progress career goals. And tailor learning to your employees' current and future career interests. Service your employees as individuals with individual desires and expectations. Passion, motivation, and appreciation. These are the attributes linked to a thriving workforce. Offer guidance, recognition, and strengthen the relationship with your employees and teams. And don't forget to empower your people to celebrate their achievements. At Oracle, we're committed to your success. From our innovation that matters to our talented and devoted colleagues, we have everything you need to thrive in this complex world. Let's redefine best